Okay, Abusia, chairman Wontumi latest update on chairman Wontumi Akonta mining and two others and a project the ato ye screen no and chen amamono chairman Wontumi two others charged for allegedly assigning mineral rights without approval in connection with Akonta mining galamsey abusua chama Wontumi akwa akopie mu ewo court ene ya project ede ato ye screen no enche ede amam nti high court charges are omode abo chama Wontumi no ntina chama Wontumi arrives at Accra High Court for trial over alleged involvement in illegal mining. Momi yankona yankonkuti and sma eko so unsubscribe ya subscribe like and share ma Akuffo so answer into me and kabi Ghana Politics Avenue so and don't forget to click on the notification bell so never any update be able drop biano one so onsa ebe to me akabi medamase
Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, and so what is now being advocated is that as Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, you are expected to take those radical, drastic decisions that will put, well, the fear in those who are perpetrating this heinous crime against the ordinary Ghanaian at the expense of the wealth that they are getting. And, well, the approaches have been undertaken, a number of them. We have a task force in place. We've had task forces in place before. You know, we even had Operation Vanguard, Gallant Stop. There's been part 1, part 2. We even had drones, bots. I remember we did a live coverage on one of them like that at the Accra International Conference Center during the period of the Akuffo Addo Bawumia administration. And so it seems to be putting that trepidation of fear among ordinary citizens and those in civil society about whether the approach is right, is not just replicating what has been done before. And that is why we, as TV3 New Day, we say that we also associate with all the calls for the president to perhaps make more drastic the decisions that he needs to undertake as Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces to ensure that the livelihoods that could be lost as a result of the public health crisis that is creeping into the population because of those who are undertaking mining illegally or galamsey, then would have to be aptly looked at. And you saw those things said there. It was the Western Regional Minister, I'm told, who had that interaction there, to the point that now even the Ghana Railway Authority, through the company that operates its rail lines in the Western region, cannot even do that because we have the perpetrators of this galamsey digging beneath the rail lines. Not to even talk about people giving away their farmlands. As a result of that, our cocoa yields have also reduced over the years because cocoa farmers, on one hand, are willing to give out their farms to earn a keep today, not thinking about their generations for the future. More so, families who had occupied lands belonging to them for generations are now trading that for the short-term gain, not thinking about generations for tomorrow. The worst of is that for many of these areas where we have galamsey being perpetrated or undertaken, it also forms, or they form part of the bulk of the areas where we get our food produce or the food stuff that we put on our morning, afternoon, and evening tables to eat or buy in town. And so there are scientific surveys, reports, investigations now indicating that we have high levels of arsenic, lead, mercury, as well as poisonous metals in our foods that we, as citizens of Ghana, are unknowingly eating. Not even to talk about water that we drink. I don't know what you think about it. If this is not drastic, I don't know what we can, and it's about our survival as well. And purely, it is because people have been given licenses. Others don't have those rights to go into those areas to mine, and they are doing that unsustainably or not friendly to the environment. Nobody's saying you shouldn't mine, but mine sustainably. So if you mine, you make sure you recoup or you close the pits, you recycle the water so that we don't have our water bodies polluted, and control the metals that are put in those waters, so to speak, that are used in washing off, to be able to get those grains, or I don't know the word to use, the terminology to use, of gold, the gold dust that you will get, after you refine and do everything. All right, so that's why we're here today. Please, TV3 Ghana is available. That's where we're streaming. I see a number of you as well. I quickly would want to acknowledge some of you, but I also have a number of individuals in the studio to help us do the discussions. Dr. Ramsey Inusa is a communications team member for the Movement for Change. And good morning to you. And thank you for joining us as well. Your trade for your PhD is in what? Your specialty?
I'm a medical doctor.
You're a medical doctor by profession?
Foreign medical graduate.
Good, fantastic. Which of the countries did you train in?
Hebei in China.
Sheshe.
Ni hao ma?
Ni hao ma?
Wahenha, you say wahenha.
Sheshe. And so we also have Theophilus Jimaga, who is also a legal practitioner, great friend of mine as well. He's also here. Lawyer Jimaga, how are you? Lawyer TK, as you're popularly called, right?
Yes.
Great. Good to have you once again.
Pleasure.
I haven't hosted you in a while. Went away
Pleasure.
for some. We hope to have on the stream Professor Smart Sapong. He's a director for research and innovation, the Kumasi Technical University. And then we're also going to have right here in the studio a legal practitioner, very experienced one as that, also a traditional ruler, Dr. Josiah A.M. Koba, a former principal lecturer, GIMPA, as well as currently also practices to law as well. And I told you that I want to acknowledge a number of you who are on our stream. It's very important. One loyal viewer who came to Ghana recently, lives in the UK, celebrating the birthday. So I always want to wish my friends. Prince Nania York, you're celebrating your birthday today. Happy birthday to you, great guy. And Roger Agongo, I see you. Amma Kokonsa and F4 Yesuto, I see you as well. And again, we have to block all those who are putting the scam messages about data, etc. on our stream. Please refrain from doing that. You interfere with the messages and the way we seem to also read them for our viewers as well. Kingston, Bisna, Basemega, please share the stream. Let's have some great conversations. Manuel Dixon, Samuel Carter is also joining. And so Obrin Ponkaba is also here. But look, let's get the conversations going. Lawyer TK, the fear is that you know that the president, commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, by our own laws, all those minerals in those vested lands are supposed to be vested in the president as well. And then, of course, you go to other regulations and laws. The minister for the sector is supposed to be responsible. And the accusation now, despite the president meeting civil society, etc., is that the president is just not doing enough. He's lame ducking.
Good morning to your viewers, wherever they find themselves, and of course, my good people from Hohwe.
That's your constituency?
That's my constituency. I was at the presidency on Friday.
You were?
Yes, I was there. I wear several hats, as you know. I'm also a member of Linsod, which is also a CSO. I don't think the president was lame ducking. With all respect to everybody who is complaining about Galamsey, I think that a number of people are talking about this Galamsey issue from a point of ignorance. When I say ignorance, I mean they don't have enough facts about what is happening. I was pleasantly surprised when the Catholic bishop who stood up to talk said a lot is being done, they are not aware. I also listened to the CSO led by Colonel Festus Abuaji, who also said that they also felt a lot of things are being done and a lot more needs to be done. My biggest problem is those who are shouting for the state of emergency. to be declared. We declare state of emergency and do what? They are not telling us, declare state of emergency and do ABC. It is like they want us to jump before thinking where to land. In fact, if I had had the opportunity that day to ask questions or to contribute, all I would have said is, for those who are in the room and who are advocates, Ken Ashigbe, etc., so much respect to them. Tell us what to do when state of emergency is declared. You mentioned here that the president, the minerals are vested in the president. He holds them in trust for the people of Ghana. That's perfectly well. The president has the type of executive presidency we have. He has so much powers. He can do a lot of things currently, even with the numbers they have in parliament. So I don't know what is not being done today that you want the president to declare state of emergency. We were told that there were at least 9 forest reserve areas which were no-go areas previously. Now they have reclaimed all those 9 areas. Now, the persons they sacked from those forest areas, reserve areas, went back. They were chased again. A number had been arrested and brought to Accra. We are also told that there is a total overhaul of the mining laws. The LI, everybody was talking about that revoke is going to be revoked. Then there had also been community engagements and sensitization for all this. So I think that a lot of work is being done. If you see some of the pictures that were produced, in fact, I told the Minister of Lands the other day that I think that we are not late. We need to do a lot more on the education for people to know what is being done. Yes, Galamsey, you mentioned that we have high levels of poisonous materials in our foods. What were the levels then? What are the levels there? Where were they sampled, etc.? There is good work being done. So remember also, all we are saying was not done within 8 months or 9 months. There had been years of accumulation of all that is being done. And you don't expect it to just be turned around within a day or a month. I think that we are not out of the woods. A lot more work is being done. For example, the railway issue that we saw, it had happened before. It used to happen. It doesn't mean it's a justification for it to happen. And as the minister rightly said, it didn't take a day. What happens then? You also mentioned the situation where people are changing from farming cocoa to galamsey. Admitted. But what if a big mining company acquires that area? They still cut down the cocoa tree, pay compensation, and move on. So let us not make it look like this is happening only under NDC or is happening now.
Lawyer TK Jimaga, are you making a claim that the calls for a state of emergency really are ill-conceived and not the panacea to resolving this?
Exactly, you've used the word.
If that is your argument, why?
I am happy you used the panacea. I said it somewhere the other day. It is not. Why do we need a state of emergency? What for? You have not told us what we need to do after the state of emergency. I'll give you a typical example. It happened in the Philippines. Their last president declared a state of emergency to fight drug menace.
Gatete?
Duterte. Yes. He's in Hague now on the fact that
for human rights abuses.
Human rights abuses. And when a state of emergency is declared, literally, our constitution is suspended. Literally. A lot of the rights you enjoy, you can't move, you can't do this. But tell us why you need a state of emergency to be declared. The president was very clear in his answer when he said, I will declare state of emergency, or I am supposed to declare state of emergency based on the advice of the National Security Council. As we stand now, they have not advised me to that. The day they will advise the president to declare the state of emergency, he said he will not waste even a second to do that. The president has so much power. We have NIMOS, the military group that is currently in the forest.
It's a task force.
It's a task force.
It's not a military group, headed by a military person.
Yes, headed by a colonel. And when they did their presentation last Friday, everybody was happy at the success they're achieving. And if you look at the presentation done on the stability, it was done on areas where NIMOS had worked. So the idea is, what if they scale their operation? We expect to see the improvement. And yesterday, when the minister met a number of people and trying to explain what is being done, in fact, you could see that a lot more progress has been done. Are you aware that for the last 8 years, no excavators were registered? And a lot of excavators were, over 1,200, we are told, were imported within the last 6 months into the country. Now, the law, as the president said, is that obtain permit before you import the excavators. Now they say, well, you have brought your excavator. Bring us the permit and we release the excavators to you. The excavators are there. Nobody is coming for them. Now it's even becoming a headache. What do you use the excavators for? Maybe drip, maybe to the district assemblies to use. So a lot more is being done. The regulatory framework is being tightened. Licenses are not being issued. You know the number of licenses that were issued within the transition period. So please, I'm not saying let's cut a bit of slack for them, for the minister and for the government. But I think that a lot more work is being done. We only need to communicate what is being done. Then the realities will be seen.
Dr. Nusa, is there a situation of perhaps an appetite of the generality of civil society and those who abhor illegal mining or the state at which we have polluted our water bodies, and then also the indiscriminate way illegal mining is being undertaken, that they have that appetite for the state of emergency other than a well program of action that could maybe within a gradual process face off the way the activity is done, or it's just that we don't understand what the government wants to do?
Well, Roland, let me say good morning.
Morning,
to good
morning,
self,
morning.
and a good morning to council here and to the good people of Ghana. Indeed, Roland, if you look at the position of we members of the Movement for Change, as we have posited in our 10-point solution to fight the menace of Galamsey, you clearly realize that there is nothing like the call of a state of emergency. We believe that, indeed, there are other avenues that are yet to be exhausted. And as you rightly intimated this morning, the president has the absolute powers of the state, backed by the security agencies, to really enforce the laws that we have currently. The reason why CSOs, and I don't blame them, because I have even said it before that we ought to have a state of emergency.
You've been an advocate.
I have even
in
been
the past.
In the past.
Okay.
But
why are you not advocating for a state of emergency today?
I think that we've had a collective decision as members of Movement for Change that there is still room, or there's hope, if indeed the 10-point solution that we have presented to the people of Ghana is being adopted. So indeed, we have adopted a solution. We have shared it on various media platforms. And we believe that if the president and the ruling government would adapt to such and effect that, we can see some positive results.
What's your plan? Movement for Change.
Indeed. We have said that, and as the government is currently doing, that number one, they should revoke LI 2462, and furthermore, amend the Minerals and Mining Act 703 to ensure that there would not be any mining in our forest reserves. Number two, we should also put a ban, a 1-year ban, on all small-scale mining and artisanal mining in this country.
You should put a whole year ban?
A whole year ban. Under this whole year ban, there should be a forensic audit of the various small-scale licenses that were given for the past 15 years. I know that they claim that they have done an audit and they have cancelled, they've revoked some of the licenses and all that, but you should do an audit whilst there's a ban for 1 year. We believe in that. And that once there's a ban for 1 year, there's enough time for government to liaise with the CSOs and then the CSIR, the Water Research Institute of the CSIR, and the EPA, and then the Minerals Commissions and the Gold Board, to come together and see how best they can develop Ghanaian innovative solutions to be able to recuperate our environment and our water bodies within this 1 year. And you know currently that there is a debate in the scientific world of Ghana community that is debating on the word dechemicalization. I'm sure you've seen that debate going on.
Yeah.
It's a healthy one.
It's no debate, actually. It's self-explanatory.
Well, I mean, it's a debate. People are arguing that, well, you cannot dechemicalize water. Others are saying, no, you can dechemicalize water. But be that as it may, Roland, we believe that if the government would adapt to these policies that we've presented, right, and then support young people who are in this menace to now transform into sustainable mining practices, not using these mercury and heavy metals to extract the gold, but to use other technologies, right, like magnetic technologies and all these novel technologies that are used in other developed countries so that they can mitigate their anthropogenic activities collectively so that we can be able to have a less polluted water and a less toxic water that is even affecting our food security today as a country. And so this is the position of the Movement for Change.
Now, the subject matter of why a concessionary license is given to a miner or somebody who goes to undertake a mine, but not doing that sustainably, if the enforcement was done right, could avert some of these things.
I agree. I mean, if you look at the budget going to EPA, for example, EPA is not well funded. Let's be honest here. The Water Resource Commission is not well funded, right? The Minerals Commission would sit in Accra, Roland, and issue licenses. We need indeed to fuse all these agencies with our local governance system. Because when you have a stronger local governance system, right, then enforcement becomes easy because then you have some form of decentralization and devolution, right? And there will not be any, the power distance will be shortened for effective policy implementation.
They are located in all the MMDAs.
And
you'll find EPA.
And I'm saying that effective local governance system. You can have it there, but what is the result today as far as Galamsey is concerned? What is the result? We are currently recording about 12,000 NTU. 44 of our forest reserves are gone. So indeed, there is an issue with enforcement and indeed the strength of these institutions to enforce. And some of them are budgetary gaps. Some of them too are corruption, right? Two for the political economy. And others are just, I would say, selfish and greedy nature of some few people. And indeed, the underlying issue, Roland, is to do with unemployment. If you look at the World Bank policy notes for 2025, it's intimated in there that 80% of Ghana's poverty incidents occurs in the rural areas. Now, if you mention Galamsey, Galamsey is not in the urban area. It's all situated in the rural areas. So then you realize that over the years, we have failed to implement egalitarian policies to be able to leapfrog the dreams and aspirations of the young people in these rural areas. That is why we are calling on the government to look at how best they can tailor their 24-hour economy policy, together with the great transformational plan that we presented to them, so that they can be able to promote innovative policies that would enhance sustainable jobs for our young people, right? That would give them a meaningful and I would say a stable life. And then indeed, when we are able to achieve that, Roland, the menace of Galamsey would be reduced. Do you know that? And I was surprising to even hear it, that, do you know, back in the days in Accra, you realize that these guys pushing these...
the trucks? Or trolleys?
Well, would I say trolley? I'll say trolley for these ice cream trolleys. We're all from the rural areas. Farm milk and all that, right? You quite remember?
Yes.
Now, do you know those people doing that? Foreigners.
Unemployed. Okay.
No, foreigners. They are Nigerians in the space now. Nigerians selling fun ice, yogurt, and all that. Where are the Ghanaians who used to do that job?
I don't understand.
Due to rural to urban migration. They are now back in their rural areas, digging in the pits to find a better living as a result of Galamsey.
Okay.
So indeed, if we should be able to implement egalitarian policies again, Roland, to tackle the teething issues of unemployment in this country, right? I believe that Galamsey will be reduced.
Professor Smart Sample has joined us. He's Director for Research and Innovation, the Kumasi Technical University. He's also a known pollster, engages public opinion on many...
Okay, abusuan we ne ensema ekoso ewo political highway so eye chama Wontumi ena ene wakwa akopie mo kota eno honsem ena yeguso edebremo unsubscribe ya subscribe like na share ma afufron so ensa entumi enkabi aha Ghana Politics Avenue so medamase